Welcome to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. Hey, I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Friday, November 20th, 2020, and we are live. We made it to the end of the week. This has been a crazy, crazy week. You have a coup that Donald Trump is trying to engage in Michigan and Pennsylvania to overturn the will of the voters. We saw that two Michigan lawmakers, the state Senate majority leader and the state House of Representatives leader from the state of Michigan, they met with Donald Trump today at the White House. We see Donald Trump is actively engaged in trying to meddle with the results of an election. This is taking place right in plain sight, but he's not going to get away with it. And I was on Roland Martin Unfiltered today. I'm a panelist on every Friday on Roland Martin Unfiltered. So that's one of the things that we discuss, one of the topics we discuss. You know, we've been talking about this here on this show since Tuesday when the story broke about the Wayne County Board of Canvassers, the Wayne County Board of Canvassers, and the two Republicans on the board that refused to certify the votes for Wayne County because of the votes coming out of Detroit. Monica Palmer, who's the chair of the Wayne County Board of Canvassers, said she'll certify all these other suburbs, a lot of these white suburbs, Livonia and some of these other suburbs, but wouldn't certify the votes in Detroit. So we're going to give an update on what took place today. Trump meets with Michigan lawmakers to try and overturn an election, but he's not going to get away with it. We know that come Monday, the Michigan State Board of Canvassers are scheduled to certify the election results, certify the votes. And then we saw that today, the Georgia Secretary of State announced the results of the hand audit of 5 million votes, and Joe Biden won. Joe Biden won by a little more than 12,000 votes. So they certified those votes. Joe Biden is the winner of Georgia officially. Down goes Frazier, down goes Frazier. We talked about that on Roland Martin Unfiltered today. I posted an article from thehill.com today regarding Georgia, as well as there was one also from abcnews.com. Georgia Secretary of State certifies election results, making Biden victory official. Down goes Frazier, down goes Frazier. So we see this out in the open, this skullduggery, this thievery, this just outright gangster thuggishness. And you have most of the Republicans who are silent. Like they're, like hear no evil, see no evil, think no evil, have no fun, or whatever it is. Most of them are silent. But there's a few brave Republicans who've spoken out. Senator Mitt Romney of Utah, Senator Ben Sasse of Nebraska, Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa also put out a statement basically saying if they have evidence of fraud, they need to present it. That's what the courts are for. Speaking of courts, did you see that insane posse clown show that Rudy Giuliani put on Thursday? I mean, he had more conspiracy theories in some of these documentaries floating around. And then he had hair dye dripping down the side of his face. I guess he was sweating a lot. Sometimes people sweat a lot when they're lying, but we're not going to say that. So he had hair dye dripping down the side of his face like he was auditioning for a Soul Glow commercial. Let your soul glow. And he had Jerry curl juice dripping down the side of his face, like Coming to America. It was the craziest thing. I didn't even waste time watching it. I read about it. I didn't even waste time watching it. Because all these cases are getting thrown out of court. And the reason why they're getting thrown out of court is when they actually go to court, all these ignorant conspiracy theories, most of that stuff that's floating around, they're not even arguing that in court. So the other day when Rudy Giuliani was in federal court as an attorney for the first time in 28 years, the judge asked him point blank, are you alleging fraud? Is this a fraud case? He had to admit, no, this is not a fraud case. Now, that's not what he says on Fox News. That's not what he says when he's at the Four Seasons, Four Seasons Lawn Service Company, whatever it was, next to the sex shop. Surprised Donald Trump wasn't there, but, that's a whole nother story. Maybe we'll find out that story on the other, after Trump leaves the White House. But anyway, so we'll give an update on what happened. And I will share a clip from Roland Martin Unfiltered when I was on today. Trump meets with Michigan lawmakers to try and overturn an election. Now, after NBCnews.com reported on this, great reporting also locally, WXYZ Channel 7 here in Detroit, Detroit Free Press as well, Detroit News, of course. After meeting with Trump, Michigan lawmakers say they see nothing to overturn Biden's win. You think? You think that you knew that before you got on the plane? You knew that before you got on the plane to go to the White House. You knew this is nothing to overturn the election. You knew this. But okay. Then I saw an article about a study that just came out. News1.com has an article dealing with how a new study finds racism quickens aging in African Americans. Racism quickens aging in African Americans. Well, all you got to do is look what's been going on the past couple of months here with this election. I mean, this is straight up racism and trying to nullify the votes, trying to overturn the votes of the African Americans in Detroit, in Philadelphia, in Milwaukee, in Atlanta. This is straight out racism. Racism, white supremacy. This is what this is. You have people trying to maintain power because what I say may go outside the circumference of some people's awareness. Just because you disagree with it or don't like it, or it may apply to you, don't mean what I'm saying is not true. Just means you need to go do some more research to understand what I'm talking about. So June 2000. Well, let's see. Let's do this. Let me do my intro. I ain't even done my intro yet. We about to go to, I'm about to take off. Let me make a note here. We'll talk about white people have a negative birth rate in 26 states out of 50 based upon the information coming from the U.S. Census Bureau. Okay, because we about to take off. All right, so study finds racism quickens aging in African Americans. All right, we'll deal with that. And earlier in the week, we dealt with the study from Citigroup Bank that shows how racism has cost the U.S. economy $16 trillion over the past 20 years, from the year 2000 to the year 2020. And lost earnings from African Americans, lost earnings from being blocked from getting college degrees, being blocked from getting loans to start businesses, being blocked from owning homes, etc. $16 trillion. That study from Citigroup Bank showed how racism is negatively impacting everybody. African Americans get the brunt of it, but it has a ripple effect throughout the economy. And this study here shows how racism quickens aging in African Americans, even though we say black don't crack. Well, if racism didn't exist or the effects of racism were even less, I mean, we'd be 100 years old, look like we're 40. Then in our history segment, I didn't get a chance to talk about this yesterday. Yesterday was November 19th. But in November 19th, 1906, white employers in Texas refused to hire wrongfully discharged African-American veterans. White employers in Texas refused to hire wrongfully discharged African-American veterans. We'll talk about that, and we'll try to squeeze in a couple of other topics. We're going to give you an update on what's going on with coronavirus. We see a total of 193,000 cases, new cases. NBC News reported for, that was for Thursday. That was the total number of cases that came through for Thursday for coronavirus. So we'll give you an update on what's going on with that. Now, you already know, I've been telling you for days, well, actually for a couple of weeks now, I've been telling you, look, don't travel for Thanksgiving. This ain't the time to be traveling. Okay. This is not the time to travel. Seriously, because the coronavirus is surging in all 50 states. Okay. And we see that conditions around the country remain dire. The United States reported a record high of more than 196,000 new coronavirus cases on Friday. More than 196,000 new coronavirus cases on Friday. And is likely to cross 12 million cases nationwide on Saturday, 6 days after surpassing 11 million. This isn't the time to travel. The CDC put out a travel advisory telling people don't travel for Thanksgiving. Well, I'm telling you that for weeks. Okay, I'm telling you that. The CDC warns do not travel for Thanksgiving, citing an exponential growth in COVID-19 cases. Federal public health officials urge people to stay your ass at home. Well, I've been telling you that for a few weeks now. Because what's going to happen is you're going to have some people who are hard-headed. They ain't going to follow this. They're going to travel. And then the other thing is telling people, look, don't go over other people's houses for Thanksgiving. You letting the killer in the front door or the back door, slide down the chimney, however it is. Okay, because after Thanksgiving, this thing is going to explode. And then when Christmas comes, see, we're not even in the winter yet. It's getting colder in different cities, different states. Winter doesn't come officially to December 20th or December 21st. As it gets colder, people retreat indoors more. Also, we're entering in the flu season. Flu season is going to be crazy. Why? Because people are going to be unemployed because of more restrictions from coronavirus. What are they going to do? They're going to be home. They're going to be home more. Some people, they have to go outside to get food, things like this, but they'll be staying home more. As it gets colder, people retreat indoors anyway. So now you're going to have people retreating indoors and unemployed in closer proximity. So what does that mean? That means coronavirus and the flu are going to be spreading like crazy, spreading like wildfire. This is what happens when you have incompetent leadership. Okay, so we'll give you an update on what's going on with coronavirus as well, and we'll deal with this day in African American history, but it's for November 19th. Now, on the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right knowledge corrects wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So when you control the radius of a man's thoughts, you can control the circumference of his actions, because the mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We deal with current events and history and politics, economics, entrepreneurship, relationships, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828. Text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. And also visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Sign up for the email newsletter there as well. If you like this type of information, you find value in this type of information, you learn from the articles we talk about, etc., you can donate to the African History Network, help keep us on the air. $ the AHN show through Cash App, $ the AHN show through Cash App. Then also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show, paypal.me/the AHN show. That helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, finance the show, etc. Also at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can donate there as well. Okay. A lot of people are going to have turkey for Thanksgiving. Some people are going to have chicken. Speaking of chicken, chickens are coming home to roost also. Donald Trump Jr. was diagnosed with coronavirus. The chickens are coming home to roost. There's about 50 people that are tied to the White House, work at the White House, part of the Trump campaign. They've gotten coronavirus. The chickens are coming home to roost. Bloomberg broke the story today. Well, that was one of the first outlets I saw that had the story. I monitor about 35 different news sources on a daily basis. I'm looking at the updates from Washington Post. Donald Trump Jr., the president's eldest son, has tested positive for coronavirus. We knew it was going to happen. The spokesman said the younger Trump tested positive earlier this week and has been isolating since then. Okay, we're coming up on a break. You listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation and Future Radio. The call-in number is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or a comment. And we're broadcasting on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, and on our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP, and on 910 AM Superstation's Facebook fan page as well. And you can also listen to the show live on iHeartRadio. Download the iHeartRadio app. You can listen to the show live, search for 910 AM Superstation, and then also search for the African History Network show. We have a page on iHeartRadio where our shows are podcasted as well. So after the show's over, you can go back and listen to the audio podcast. We have about, I think maybe about 300 of them there on iHeartRadio. All right, we'll be back in a few minutes. All right, stand by, everybody. How's everybody doing? All right, how's everybody doing? We got Bernice. We got Camp Powhatan. Sounds like a Native American or Moors. Yeah, well, a lot of times when you talk about Moors, you're talking about Native Americans. I know all about the Moors. I know Washita Moors. I've been to the classes, all that stuff, you know. See, I ain't no rookie. I've interviewed Dr. Jose Pimenta Bay, Professor Cabo Hiawatha Kamene, all this golden age of the Moor. Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, I know all about the Moors. And this deals with the Moors also, Black Star, the African presence in Europe. All right. Okay, so we got Lola. How you doing? Kenyatta. All right, now let me see. I need to get ready for this next segment. Now, what I need to do, we're going to deal with this story here. Just give me a minute. This live radio.
Clean and disinfect surfaces.
Just give me a minute here while I get ready for this next segment. Okay, so we're on commercial break at the radio station. I just need to monitor a couple things here. All right, we got Kenyatta, we got Lois. Okay, so we're going to post the article here from this NBC News dealing with the CDC warns against do not travel for Thanksgiving. As I've been telling you for the last 2 or 3 weeks now. Just that. Get ready to come back from the break. Just a second. Be right back. All right. We're back. All right, stand by, everybody. We're back in just a minute here. All right, African American business owners, email us at customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. Customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. We'll post the information right here. Okay. Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation, the Future Radio. Hey, I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Friday, November 20th, 2020. We made it through a crazy week. This is a crazy week. We're dealing with this idiot in the White House, this wannabe dictator, this thug in chief, traitor in chief. And he met with two members of the Michigan State Legislature today. So he met with Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey, and he also met with the member of the House of Representatives, leader of the House of Representatives, House Speaker Lee Chatfield, both of them Republicans. So if we look at the reporting from NBC News, and once again, the call-in number is 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. We'll go to the phone lines in just a minute. We'll go to Carl, Wilma, and Theo. So stand by. NBC News reported after meeting with Trump, Michigan lawmakers say they see nothing to overturn Biden's win. After meeting with Trump, Michigan lawmakers say they see nothing to turn over Biden's win. The White House meeting came as Trump's lawyers call for state legislatures to name electors for Trump and states Biden win. Now, most of these states' constitutions, the state legislatures can't do that. This is if President Barack Obama did something like this in 2012 when he was running against Mitt Romney, all hell would break loose. You all know this. Republican state lawmakers from Michigan met with Donald Trump at the White House on Friday, November 20th, and said afterwards that they were not, quote, made aware of any information that would change the outcome of the election in Michigan, end quote. Now, the White House meeting came as Trump's lawyers are calling for state legislatures, including Michigan's, to name Trump electors in states won by President-elect Joe Biden. So they just want to say the hell with the will of the people. We just going to skip we just going to throw out all those rules, and we just going to try to get y'all to just name these electors to send them to have them vote in the electoral college. Just skip all the voting because Trump lost. Okay, they're coming up with all these conspiracy theories and saying, "Oh, there was fraud, there were fraudulent votes." Now, the only fraud that they say is for Democrats. Now, they don't want to certify votes in Michigan because it was fraud. They don't want to certify votes in some other states. They say it was fraud. Right now, they don't claim it was fraud in North Carolina. Trump won North Carolina. They don't claim fraud in North Carolina. They don't claim fraud in Alaska. They don't claim fraud in any of the states that Donald Trump won. All right. So let me ask you this question. If the Democrats rigged the election, if it was fraud, why did they let Mitch McConnell win in Kentucky? Why did they let Mitch McConnell beat Amy McGrath in Kentucky, but they rigged the election? Why did they let Cindy Hyde-Smith beat Mike Espy in the Senate race in Mississippi? If it was fraud, okay. Why, if it was fraud, why didn't they let John Ossoff, the Democrat, beat the Republican Senator David Perdue in Atlanta so you wouldn't have to go to a runoff race if it was fraud? If they rigged the election for Joe Biden, why didn't they rig it for these other people? Now, when you claim that this election, the election was the election rigged for these seats in the House of Representatives that Republicans won from Democrats? Was that rigged too? Should those races be nullified? Should those votes be nullified also? Or is it just the ones that weren't for you? Okay, is just the ones that weren't for you? All these other votes, that was fine. It's just the ones that weren't for you. Those are the ones that are fraudulent. Now, the White House meeting came as Trump's lawyers are calling for state legislatures, including Michigan's, to name Trump electors in states won by President-elect Joe Biden. Sidney Powell, this idiot, Sidney Powell, this idiot attorney. I mean, this is like the insane clown posse of attorneys that Trump has. Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and Sidney Powell even lost Tucker Carlson on Fox News. You know how stupid you have to be to lose Tucker Carlson? Tucker Carlson called her out. Now, Sidney Powell told Fox Business, because she was also interviewed by Lou Dobbs. Okay. She said, quote, "The entire election, frankly, in all the swing states should be overturned, and the legislatures should make sure that the electors are selected for Trump." Okay. Just the swing states. right? Just the swing states. Okay. Now, in a joint statement issued after their approximately 2-hour visit to the White House, they had a nice chit chat. States Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey and House Speaker Lee Chatfield said they accepted the president's invitation, quote, as we would accept an invitation from any sitting president if he asked to meet, end quote. But they said their position that the voters are the ones who pick the state's electors was unchanged. Okay, now we're going to find out come Monday. Hopefully they're telling the truth. We're going to find out come Monday. Hopefully they're telling the truth. Quote, as quote, legislative leaders, we will follow the law and follow the normal process regarding Michigan's electors, just as we have said throughout the election, end quote, their statement said. They went on to say Michigan's certification process should be a deliberate process. Michigan's certification process should be a deliberate process, free from threats and intimidation. Allegations of fraudulent behavior should be taken seriously, fairly investigated, and if proven, prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Well, you need something called evidence, though. If you're alleging fraud, you need evidence. And the candidates who win the most votes win elections, and Michigan's electoral votes, end quote, they added. Now, let's see. All right. Joe Biden won Michigan by about 155, 160,000 votes. Joe Biden won Michigan. Joe Biden won Michigan by more than 10 times the margin of what Donald Trump won Michigan in 2016. Donald Trump won Michigan in 2016 by 10,704 votes. Joe Biden won by about 155,000, 156,000. Okay. So the Trump campaign has no legal ground to stand on here. Now, Biden campaign legal advisor Bob Bauer in Detroit News has an article about this as well, but they have reporting on this in this article from NBCnews.com. Biden campaign legal advisor Bob Bauer, B-A-U-E-R, said, quote, no state legislature in our country's history ever has done what Donald Trump is apparently agitating for the Michigan state legislature to do, which is to ignore the results of a popular vote and wrest control from the voters. Ignore the results of a popular vote election and wrest control from the voters. Now, Bob Bauer called the invitation, quote, an abuse of office. It's an open attempt to intimidate election officials. It's absolutely appalling, end quote. He went on to say it's also pathetic and will be unsuccessful. Now, Donald Trump invited the lawmakers to meet with him after reaching out to two other local Republican officials early in the week. That's Monica Palmer and William Hartman, who are on the Wayne County Board of Canvassers. We've talked about that here. And let's see here. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel, who's a Democrat, declined comment on the situation to NBC News, saying we don't comment on pending investigations. Okay, so check out this article here. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to line one. We have Carl. Carl, welcome to the African History Network show. Thanks for holding. Tell us where you're calling from.
Yeah, I'm calling from Detroit.
From Detroit. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Yep. You be putting it down.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, you be putting it down. Thank you for taking my call. You be putting it down. You be putting the truth out there. You know, this is not the first time, man, they tried to steal Detroit votes. Remember, that's how you got that Flint water crisis. Remember emergency manager when the state voted no? The whole state. You know, the white boys don't want that eminent domain.
Right.
He beat about 300,000 votes. The state house, the state senate, Governor Snyder, he signed it. They overturned the voters of the whole state of Michigan. He voted no for emergency manager.
Well,
and look what happened.
Well, what they said they did was reverted to an older law. They said they reverted to an older law. That is it. But I remember that when it happened. Yeah, we did vote against that. But they said they reverted to an older law. Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah. See, that's not the first time. But these the lady and the man that went out there to see Trump, this was a publicity stunt because they're going to come back. And that guy from the state Senate, that Republican, he's terrible. He's going to run for governor against her. This all that is a publicity stunt. Okay, so because they won't hire up in the state of Michigan where they can overthrow. Because you imagine, because they're going to change the voting laws. If you get a state Republican governor here in Michigan, in the House, in the Senate, like I said about the emergency, watch them trick out all the laws. Just
right.
Like when you pay city taxes, it goes to the state anyway. That's on emergency manager law. The city of Detroit don't work out these finances. We still got some consent degree with them, with Lansing. But anyway, my brother, here's my thing about unemployment. See, this is that stimulus package. Donald Trump is not governing no more.
Right. He's not.
Anything, man.
He's not. He's spending more time trying to overturn the results of this election than trying to fight coronavirus.
Yes, he lost.
Mm-hmm.
Period. He won what last time? What did he win, man? 3 states by 80,000 people.
78,000 votes. 3 states by.
Yeah. 3 states. That's right. I hate brothers don't vote out here, man, in this country, man. Out of all the stuff our people, well, you be putting it down. All the stuff our people that went through in this country, it still rolls. You vote for your interest in your kids. I work with a bunch of Trump supporters, and do you know, all on unemployment, half working. I say I know the Democratic package, what they offer, but they the one helped give the 600 in the first place.
Exactly. Democrats strengthened. Hold on. I'm gonna let you finish in just a second. But people have to understand, Democrats in the House and in the Senate strengthened the bill, especially when it went to the Senate. Democrats strengthened it, and they wanted more than a one-time stimulus check also, but they strengthened it and got the $600 a week in additional federal unemployment insurance. Now that ran out July 31st. Okay, because Republicans in the Senate had not passed a bill to come to an agreement with the $3.4 trillion HEROES Act that Democrats in the House passed back in May 2020. Okay, so this is what you're dealing with. Mitch McConnell in the Senate. Go ahead and finish your point. And I have to get to these other calls.
Yeah. But here's my thing. Why would I vote for a Republican? I understand. If I'm voting Democrat, I don't get everything. And if I'm a big corporation, such and such, I don't get everything as a voter. Republican, you live check by check. You got 100 million. Look, much people voted for Donald Trump. You got 100 million people in this country live check to check, unemployment check to check. Why would I vote for somebody that's going to affect you personally, right in your face? Because the unemployment checks runs out at the end of December. Donald Trump ain't gonna do nothing. Watch. Right. Here's what I want Nancy Pelosi to do. They got the federal budget coming up. I want them to shut down the government unless they pass the stimulus. That's right. That's what it is right there.
All right.
You know what I'm saying, man.
Yeah. Use that as leverage. Okay. We'll see what happens there.
Thank you for taking my call.
Okay. All right, Carl. Let's go to Wilma. Okay. No problem. And we're back on Sunday night, and we're on for 2 hours every Sunday night, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. We're on Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time, but we're on 2 hours Sunday night. Let's go to Wilma, line 2. Wilma, welcome to the African History Network show. Thanks for holding. Tell us where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Arizona.
From Arizona? Okay. All right, no problem. Thanks. How's it going down in Arizona? Because we know they try to overturn our votes down there in Arizona too.
We're blue now.
What'd you say?
They're still riding down the street. I said we're blue now in Arizona, but they're still riding down the streets with the trucks with the flags.
Mm-hmm. Trump supporters.
Well, my question, yeah.
Okay.
My question is this: who's paying for all these lawsuits that he's filing?
Oh, the Trump's filing. Well, see, Trump is raising money. Trump is sending out emails to their supporters, to his supporters. So they got the emails for the campaign. So he's raising money to pay for these lawsuits. Okay, and to pay for the recount, the recount in Wisconsin. It was 2 counties in Wisconsin. They paid $3 million for that. Now, to have a recount in the whole state of Wisconsin would have been $8 million. They didn't want to pay $8 million. Okay, so they got the discount package, right? They got the blue light special, so they paid $3 million. So they've been raising money, and they keep coming up short. Everywhere, all these cases getting thrown out of court. Basically all these cases getting thrown out of court. They just waste the money. And there was a report from Washington Post. Exactly. There's a report from Washington Post, and other outlets picked it up as well. So it's believed that Rudy Giuliani is charging Donald Trump $20,000 a day for legal services. Okay. Look, man, you can go to UAD Law School, get a second-year law student that could do better than Rudy Giuliani. I'm telling you right now. University of Detroit, for those outside of Detroit don't know what UAD is. Go ahead.
My next question is: he went to Michigan to talk about an overturn of the election. When you're playing a game, cards, and you go to a certain number, say spades, when you get to 300, you lost.
Mm-hmm.
He officially lost, okay? So get up from the table and let someone else take your seat, someone more qualified.
Right.
The thing that I have a problem with is he went to Michigan to talk to them about overturning the election, but he didn't go
he didn't come to Michigan. Water. Well, no, he didn't. Trump didn't come to. No, the 2 leaders of the state legislature. Hold on, just 1 second. The 2 leaders of the Michigan state legislature went to the White House to meet with Trump. That happened today. Go ahead.
Okay, well, he met with them, but he did not talk to them about fixing the water or fixing the economy or any of that. I have a problem with the fact that he is ruining America, and he won't step down. He won't concede. He won't do the right thing. He has no integrity whatsoever. And it's sad that he's hurting the American people by what he's doing. All the atrocities that he put on the American people is just unbelievable. And it's sad to see someone that old stuck so far in his ways and in his thinking that it is detrimental to the public.
Right. So just so people understand, he's not going to step down right now because his term is not up until January 20th, 2021. So customarily a losing a president who's lost would have conceded by now. However, a concession is not necessary. Okay, now what is necessary is for Emily Murphy to sign off on the transition funding for the Biden administration, for the Biden Kamala Harris elect transition team, so Biden can get the presidential daily briefing, so they can get the proper funding that goes along with being the president elect to fund the transition team. That needs to happen. Okay, all right. Thanks for calling though. Keep listening. Okay. Oh, go ahead. So what was that last thing you said? What was the last sentence you said? I missed it.
By him not debriefing and briefing the turning in president and vice president, he's causing a ruckus, and it's just inhumane. I mean, people are dying.
Right.
More cases every day. 1 million children. I mean, I don't understand his whole game plan. I mean, he's gonna leave. He already did leave.
Right.
So I don't understand why is he being so vindictive.
Because that's the type of person that's the type of person he is. That's what his niece said, who wrote the book about him. But okay, call back in Sunday night. We're on 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Sunday night. Okay, keep listening. All right, thanks. Okay, let's go to no problem. And once again, the calling number is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the calling number if you have a question or comment. Let's go to Theo, line 3, Theo Broughton from Hood Research. How you doing, Theo?
All right. I'm doing fantastic. And I wanted to ask a couple of things. But first, I just want to say that I believe Donald Trump knows that he is going to be put out. He knows that he's not going to be successful in any of the tricks he's trying to play.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's angry because of his racism. He's angry because it's been reported by the syndicated media that the black community is the community that brought Joe Biden over the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't like the fact that black folks did anything positive. So I think that's why he's targeting the various black community to try and overturn their vote.
Right.
Is there any law that will force Emily Murphy to do her job?
She can be taken to court. Now she can be taken to court. It's federal law. She can be taken to court, but it is from my understanding it's not criminal law. We'll have to see how this plays out. More pressure is coming for her to sign off on the transition funds. But we'll see how this plays out. But more pressure is coming this week, and you're gonna have you've already had you're gonna have more Republicans speaking out, most likely coming this week. But go ahead.
Now, as it relates to the various chair positions, do you know if President-elect Biden has mentioned a person to be the education chair?
They haven't revealed a person yet to be the. You're talking about Secretary of Education?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think they. I don't think they have named someone to be secretary to actually be Secretary of Education. They haven't done that yet. There's some names floating around. Jeffrey Canada, I think, is one name floating around because on Roland Martin Unfiltered today, we spoke with Jeffrey Canada, but they haven't made a decision yet.
Okay, I also think that the Colin Powell's son was over the FCC, right?
Who?
Clinton needs to be revamped.
Colin Powell's son. Yeah, it was FCC. Yeah, Federal Communications Commission. Yes, he was. Yeah.
Right, and I think that department needs to be revamped because a lot of the regulations have been just dropped. So that's something that happens with the president, and the president nominates the Federal Communications Commissioners as well. There are 5 commissioners on the committee. They get nominated by the president as well. So there are 3. Whichever party is in control of the White House, they have 3 commissioners on the FCC commission. Okay, so there are 3 Republicans. Right. There are 3 Republicans, 2 Democrats. Yeah. Okay, Canada's first name now is
Jeffrey.
Being considered.
I think his name is being floating around. Yeah, but we'll find out more because these people have to be vetted also.
That's one of the reasons why you need the
Right.
funding, because these people have to be vetted as well. All right. Okay, we got to run, Theo.
I'm recommending you.
Oh no, I don't want to do that.
All right.
All right, Theo. Call back Sunday. Okay, quickly here. Let's go to Dave. Line 4. Dave, welcome to the African History Network show. Thanks for holding. Tell us where you're calling from.
Hey, I'm calling from Newport News, Virginia, man. How you doing?
All right. Oh, from Virginia, Dave. Okay, how's it going, man? You all right?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there, bro. Hey, look, I'm gonna recommend you for the the press secretary, the press spokesman for Joe Biden. Is that okay?
You can recommend me, bro. I don't want that. I don't think I want that job, man. I don't. Press secretary. I don't think I want that job. No. You have to do it. You got to deal with the media. I don't want that. I don't want that job, man. It could be something in communications, or it could be something, really, I want to deal with policy. I've been involved in writing policy for the city of Detroit. I want to deal with policy, deal with things like wealth creation, deal with attacking racism, white supremacy. Joe Biden is putting together a team that needs to be a paid position. I can't volunteer. I can't afford to volunteer nothing. I need it has to be a paid position though. Yep. But go ahead.
I feel you, man. I feel you.
Yep.
Hey, listen, speaking of that, in terms of policy, there's a 5G digital spectrum that covers the whole country. Right now, Trump is talking about giving it away to a company called Rivada. I think that, Bush's brain, Carl Rove got something to do with it. He's talking about giving the whole 5G licensing agreement and everything to one company called Rivada, but that's a policy issue that will cause structural racism if you give it to one white-owned company over the whole nation.
Right.
And you could dish it out so that everybody can get a piece of the pie.
Okay.
With that said, what do you think about some of these groups online that have been doing voter depression, telling people not to vote and telling people to vote down ballot?
Yeah, we dealt with that before the election, man. That's ridiculous. We went through and broke all that stuff down before the election. But okay, all right, Dave, we're out of time here, man. But call back Sunday night. I have 2 hours on the air Sunday night. All right, call back Sunday night.
All right, take care.
All right, thanks.
Take care.
All right, no problem. But the whole voter disinformation, all that stuff, we dealt with that extensively before the election. I want to go to this clip here. Let's go to this clip here from Roland Martin Unfiltered. We talked about Trump meeting with the 2 Michigan lawmakers today. Let's go to this clip.
Happens to be Geraldo Rivera. I mean, and I'm just trying to understand how much all of this is costing him. Because, first of all, this is what this fool, and what's interesting that he put a video up 3 days ago actually saying this, and people ignored it. So then he decides to go on Fox News today and actually says this. And you want to talk about just stucco, stupid. I mean, dude, seriously. I mean, was Vaseline used? I mean, my goodness. I mean, listen to this.
I had an idea, when with the world so divided and everybody, telling him he's got to give up and time to leave and time to transition and all the rest of it. Why not name the vaccine the Trump? Make it like, have you gotten your Trump yet? No, it'd be a nice gesture to him, and years from now it would become just a kind of a generic name. Have you got your Trump yet? No, yeah, I got my Trump. I'm fine. I wish we could honor him in that way, because he is definitely the prime architect of this Operation Warp Speed, and but for him, we'd still be waiting, into the grim winter for these amazing, miraculous medical breakthroughs. So let's talk about what. I had an idea, when the world's so divided.
First of all, how about we name the virus of Trump?
Right.
I mean, 250,000 dead. We're gonna name that one after you. We're gonna call it the Trump virus.
Well, not only that, 250,000 dead. Yesterday, November 19th, you had at least 182,000 new cases of coronavirus. As of this morning, MSNBC reported that for Thursday was 193,000. That set a record. We're almost at 200,000 new cases in a day. Hospitals in rural areas are being overran. So they should call it the Trump virus. Since Trump likes to call it the China virus, call it the Trump virus, because you mishandled it. And just as Herbert Hoover mishandled the Great Depression, he lost the 1932 presidential election, okay, because he mishandled the Great Depression. You mishandled the coronavirus, which tanked the economy, and it cost you the 2020 presidential election. But, Donald Trump talked about no vaccine. Now, I think he's trying to quote Ice Cube, no Vaseline, and got it confused and said no vaccine, number one. Okay. Number two, I want him to still provide the evidence that he won the election. He keeps saying he won the election.
There's none.
But there is none.
There's none.
And then it wasn't a clown show that Rudy Giuliani did yesterday. That was an insane
First of all, if you call it a clown show, it's a gross insult to clowns.
It's a gross insult to clowns. That was an insane posse clown show. Okay, he looked like he was auditioning for a Soul Glow commercial with Jerry curl juice dripping down the side of his face. But the conspiracy theories that Rudy Giuliani is pushing, when they go to court and they file in court, they're not pushing those conspiracy theories in court. The attorneys for Trump are being asked point blank, are you saying, and Rudy Giuliani was just in court for the first time in 28 days, federal court for the first time in 28 years, a couple of days ago, did horribly. And Rudy Giuliani was asked point blank by the judge, are you alleging this was a fraud case? And he had to admit, no, it's not. So they're grandstanding and lying to people. And lying to these idiots that voted for them.
And again, and how they're lying. The perfect example, idiot attorney Sidney Powell, who I don't understand how anybody can call her a legal scholar. I mean that's really an insult to scholars.
Exactly.
This is her talking to the Harvard-educated, but clearly in need of a lobotomy, Lou Dobbs. If y'all want to hear crazy, trust me, this ain't even puff, pass. This is, we've been snorting some serious stuff before we went on the air. Listen to this.
Joining us now by phone is Sidney Powell. She's a member, obviously, of the president's legal team, also General Michael Flynn's defense attorney, a great American, one of the country's leading appellate attorneys. Sidney, first of all, thanks. I know you are going every which direction right now, busy as you could possibly be. Let's start out right now with the president's path to victory here as you and the legal team see it. If you could give us just that canvas very quickly.
Well, yes, Lou. The entire election, frankly, in all the swing states should be overturned, and the legislatures should make sure that the electors are selected for Trump, and it's going to have to follow the constitutional provisions that it be decided.
All right.
So, according to the amendment.
Okay, so pause it right there, Mike. We're out of time here. But that's Sidney Powell, attorney Sidney Powell. And okay, we're going to continue this on our social media platforms. Now, Tucker Carlson already asked her for the evidence, and she didn't provide any and got mad at Tucker Carlson. There's an article from news.yahoo.com about this. We're out of time here. Follow us on our social media platforms, The African History Network on Facebook, Michael Imhotep on YouTube. We're going to continue this discussion here. So those watching me on social media, keep watching. We're going to continue the discussion. We'll be back Sunday night, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Donate to the African History Network, $, the AHN Show through Cash App and paypal.me/the AHN Show. Remember, right now it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. Stay tuned for Greg Davis. We'll talk to you Sunday night. Peace. All right, stand by, everybody. All right, stand by. Okay. Let's keep going. Yeah, so Sidney Powell is one of these crazy attorneys for Trump, for the Trump campaign. Yahoo
news.yahoo.com has an article. Fox News Tucker Carlson is reluctantly skeptical of the vote switching conspiracy from Trump lawyers. Okay. And he said that, quote, we took Sidney Powell seriously. We had no intention of fighting with her. We've always respected her work. We simply wanted to see the details of what you're alleging, vote switching, this whole Dominion voter system, voting machines, conspiracy theory that you're weaving and all this stuff. And where's the evidence of this? That's what Tucker Carlson was asking for at Fox News. And she got mad at him. Okay. Powell, he said Powell has been all over conservative, basically conservative news with the following story. The election was stolen by a collection of international leftists who manipulated vote tabulating software in order to flip millions of votes from Donald Trump to Joe Biden. Just idiotic nonsense. Okay. And so this is what Tucker Carlson is laying out. And he said what Powell was describing would amount to, so they're alleging that millions of votes were flipped from Joe Biden to Donald Trump. That's the best they could come up with. Okay. These high price attorneys, that's the best they could come up with. All right. What Powell was describing would amount to the single greatest crime in American history. Millions of votes stolen in a day. Democracy destroyed. The end of our centuries old system of self-government, not a small thing. Tucker Carlson assured his viewers he wasn't dismissing attorney Sidney Powell's claims. He said, quote, this may be the most open-minded show on television. We literally do UFO segments. They do segments on UFOs, not because we're crazy or even a bit interested in the subject, but because there is evidence UFOs are real and everyone lies about it, he said. He went on to say, we took Sidney Powell seriously. We had no intention of fighting with her. We've always respected her work. We simply wanted to see the details. But where's the evidence of what you're alleging? And she angrily refused to provide them. And she angrily refused to provide them because she don't have any. They're lying. This is a conspiracy theory. They're lying. They don't have any. Okay, that's what this is. All right, so so that was a segment from Roland Martin Unfiltered. Check it out at Roland's YouTube channel, Roland Martin on YouTube, and then Roland Martin on Facebook also. Okay, and we'll post a link here to the full show. All right, how you doing, Sharon? Everybody share this broadcasting on social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in also. African American business owners, email us at customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. Customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. Email us there. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. And we take we can create a commercial for you, take your 30-second and 60-second commercial. We create a video commercial for you, and it will air when we rebroadcast these shows also. And it will also air in our audio podcast format of our shows also. So you'll have an audio commercial as well. Okay. So email us at customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. All right, let's continue here. Okay, so we talked about coronavirus. So just do a quick update here on coronavirus. So the U.S. reported 196,000 new cases on Friday, and it's likely to cross 12 million cases in total nationwide by Saturday, November 22nd. Now, the Food and Drug Administration's Vaccine Advisory Committee will meet December 10th to consider the Pfizer BioNTech request. The agency said late Friday. We already reported that Donald Trump Jr., the president's eldest son, has tested positive for coronavirus. Infection rates dropped in Kansas counties that adopted mask mandates over the summer, while rising sharply in counties that did not, according to new research. You can look at the updates from the Washington Post, okay? Washington Post has good live updates dealing with coronavirus. And I want to flip over here and look at this is what I want from NBC, the summary. Okay, now on Thursday, there was a record, Thursday, November 19th, there was a record 185,000 new cases in a single day reported at least. But by this morning, MSNBC reported the total was 193,000. Hospitalizations have surpassed 80,000 for the first time. They were at about 81,000. As reported on Thursday by the Washington Post. Let's see here. I just want to look at any brief updates that I need to cover here. Now, racial and ethnic, quote unquote, minorities continue to die from COVID-19 at much higher rates. This is from a Washington Post analysis. Nearly 9 months after the virus exploded in the United States, and amid big treatment strides, the disease continues to ravage African American and other minority communities with a particular vengeance. African American, Asian, Native American, and Hispanic patients still die far more frequently than white patients, even as death rates have plummeted for all races and age groups. According to a Washington Post analysis of records from 5.8 million people who tested positive for the virus from early March through mid-October, death rates overall have fallen more than 80% from the pandemic's peak in the spring. Death rates overall have fallen more than 80% from the pandemic's peak in the spring, when refrigerator trucks were parked outside New York City hospitals and ice rinks were converted into morgues, according to an analysis of anonymized data collected by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. But as another wave of infections sweeps across the country this fall, losses among racial and ethnic minorities remain disproportionately large. Losses among racial and ethnic minorities remain disproportionately large. I'm gonna go to the full story here from Washington Post, and we'll post the link here. They have some pictures of African Americans who have passed away from coronavirus. Now, African Americans as another wave of infection sweeps across the country this fall, losses among racial and ethnic minorities remain disproportionately large. African Americans were 37% more likely to die than white Americans after controlling for age, sex, and mortality rates over time. Asian Americans were 53% more likely to die. Native Americans and Alaskan Natives, 26% more likely to die. Hispanics, 16% more likely to die. Those higher case fatality rates for diagnosed people of color are on top of the increased infection rates for those unable to isolate at home because they are essential workers. Those higher case fatality rates for diagnosed people of color are on top of the increased infection rates for those unable to isolate at home because they are essential workers. I'm going to turn on the screen share so you can see the name of this article. You can read it in its entirety. It's from the Washington Post. just came out today, November 20th, 2020. Racial and ethnic minorities continue to die from COVID-19 at much higher rates, post-analysis shows. While overall fatality rates have plummeted since the summer, experts say many of the deaths in minority communities are preventable. Many of the deaths in minority communities are preventable. And if we scroll down here to the passage I was just sharing, right here, it says, but another wave of infection sweeps across the country. Now, African Americans were 37% more likely to die than whites after controlling for age, sex, and mortality rates over time. So check out this article in its entirety, okay? And we'll post a link here on the thread of the broadcast. All right. Okay, let's continue. So I want to get to this other story quickly here. News1.com had a good article today. It deals with a new study that shows this study finds racial discrimination quickens aging. It deals with the effects of experiencing racism on African Americans and how that relates to aging. Okay, how that relates to aging. Just a minute here. Let's see here. Where is that article? Let me see here. Okay. Let me find it here. Okay, so the writer, so this article was written by a member of News One staff. This article was written by a writer from News One staff. It says, I'm part of a research team that has been following more than 800 Black American families for almost 25 years. Okay, and here it is right here. We'll post a link for it also. We found that people who had reported experiencing high levels of racial discrimination when they were young teenagers had significantly higher levels of depression in their 20s than those who had not. This elevated depression in turn showed up in their blood samples, which revealed accelerated aging on a cellular level. Okay, let me repeat this. In this study here that tracked more than 800 African American families for almost 25 years, they found that people who had reported experiencing higher levels of racial discrimination when they were teenagers had significantly higher levels of depression in their 20s than those who had not. This elevated depression in turn showed up in their blood samples, which revealed accelerated aging on a cellular level. Okay.
Let me turn the screen share on. Do we still have it? Okay, let's see. Let's turn it on. This article from News One. And once again, name of this article is Black Don't Crack Unless Racism is Involved. Black Don't Crack Unless Racism is Involved. Study finds racial discrimination quickens aging. And it's actually written by Sierra Carter. Sierra Carter. Okay. So you should be able to see this now here. All right, let's continue. So our research is not the first to show Black Americans live sicker lives and die younger. Okay, and there's some links in the article that you can check out also. Okay, that gives more information. The experience of constant and accumulating stress due to racism through an individual's lifetime can wear and tear down the body, literally, quote, getting under the skin, end quote, to affect health. The experience of constant and accumulating stress due to racism throughout an individual's lifetime can wear and tear down the body, literally, getting under the skin to affect health. These findings highlight how stress from racism, particularly experienced early in life, can affect the mental and physical health disparities seen among African Americans. So why does this matter? As news stories of African American women, men, and children being killed due to racial injustice persist, our research on the effects of racism continues to have significant implications. COVID-19 has been labeled as, quote unquote, stress pandemic for Black populations, a stress pandemic for Black populations that are disproportionately affected due to factors like poverty, unemployment, access for healthcare. In 2019, the American Academy of Pediatrics identified racism as having a profound impact on the health of children. Okay, now I remember when this article came out, there was an article from blackpressusa.com that talked about this, and we talked about this on the show because I've done an entire lecture dealing with how racism negatively affects the health of African Americans. So when you have people that say, oh, well, you know, racism doesn't exist, or racism is not that bad, or et cetera, they don't deal with how it negatively impacts our health, where it deals with stress, elevated stress levels, high blood pressure, where you have discrimination when it comes to the health care that's given. African American women more likely to die during childbirth, or have children that die during childbirth. When you deal with different things like that, these are the effects of racism. So in 2019, the American Academy of Pediatrics identified racism as having a profound impact on the health of children, adolescents, emerging adults, and their families. Our findings support this conclusion and show the need for society to truly reflect on the lifelong impact racism can have on a Black child's ability to prosper in the U.S. So the Family and Community Health Study, established in 1996 at Iowa State University and the University of Georgia, is looking at how stress, neighborhood characteristics, and other factors affect Black American parents and their children over a lifetime. Okay, they're looking at how stress, neighborhood characteristics,
and other factors affect Black American parents and their children over a lifetime. Participants were recruited from rural, suburban, and metropolitan communities, funded by the National Institutes of Health. This research is the largest study of African American families in the U.S., with 800 families participating. Okay, this research is the largest study of African American families in the U.S., with 800 families participating. Now, researchers collected data, including, let me scroll down here. Okay. Researchers collected data, including self-reported questionnaires on experiences of racial discrimination and depressive symptoms every 2 to 3 years. In 2015, the team started taking blood samples. The team started taking blood samples to assess participants' risks for heart disease and diabetes, as well as tests for biomarkers that predict the early onset of these diseases. We utilized a technique that examines how old a person is at a cellular level, compared with their chronological age. We found that some young people were older at a cellular level than would have been expected based on their chronological age. Racial discrimination accounted for much of this variation, suggesting that such experiences were accelerating age. Our study shows how vital it is to think about how mental and physical health difficulties are interconnected. So what's next? Some of the next steps for their work include focusing more closely on the accelerated aging process. We also will look at resiliency and early interventions that could possibly offset and prevent health decline among Black Americans. Due to COVID-19, the next scheduled blood sample collection has been delayed until at least spring 2021. And the original children from the study will be in their mid to late 30s and might possibly be experiencing chronic illnesses at this age, due in part to accelerated aging. With continued research, my colleagues and I hope to identify ways to interrupt the harmful effects of racism so that Black lives matter and are able to thrive. Now, Sierra Carter is an assistant professor of psychology at Georgia State University. This article is republished from the news outlet, The Conversation. Okay, so check out this article also from newsone.com. Black don't crack unless racism is involved. Study finds racial discrimination quickens aging. And this is at newsone.com. All right, how's everybody doing? Share this broadcast on your social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in also. If you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN show, $ the AHN show. And then also through that's $ the AHN show through Cash App, and then also through PayPal. Also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show, paypal.me/the AHN show. Okay. And then also at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, that really helps us to keep doing the research, and because we're on 6 nights a week now instead of 1 night a week, so that's a bigger time commitment. So it really helps us to stay on the air, keep doing the research, keep doing the show. Also, African American business owners, email us at customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network also. All right, let's get to this last story here. Do some history. So November 19th, 1906, November 19th, 1906, white employers in Texas refused to hire wrongfully discharged Black veterans. Okay, we're going to go to this here in just a minute. This is another deep history story. And for our advertisers, I put together a video commercial for them. And for a lot of them, if you have one of your own, we can use that as long as it doesn't have copywritten music. Otherwise, I'll put together one for you. And here's a sample of what we put together. All right.
What are you waiting for? They are vegan, gluten-free, and free of the big 8 allergens. While eating their no frowny brownies, the fabulous Miss Tabitha Brown said they were very good. Very good. And you know, if she says that, they are. The Pink Bakery is the first Black-owned Big 8 brownie. Now it's great. Peace. Have you tasted the world famous no frowny brownie yet from the Pink Bakery? If not, what are you waiting for? They are vegan, gluten-free, and free of the big 8 allergens. While eating their no frowny brownies, the fabulous Miss Tabitha Brown said they were very good. Very good. And you know, if she says that, they are. The Pink Bakery is the first Black-owned Big 8 allergen-free baking mix company. Go to thepinkbakery.com. That's thepinkbakery.com to order their no frowny brownie mix today. Are you ready for a new Black economy? Well, Happy, The Role of Economics in the Development of Civilization is a brand new documentary that will set you on a new path of knowledge and enlightenment. The Happy film gives viewers a snapshot of our economic history from the dawn of civilization right up until today. The underlying theme of the film is the interrelationship between the 3 essential components of economics, politics, and culture. Happy brings together the brightest and most prolific minds in the fields of psychology, history, business, and politics, such as Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Professor James Small, Dr. Julian Malveaux, Dr. Zahi Hawass, and Jabari Osazi, and more. Together, they deliver a message of cooperative economics, financial independence, and a pride that we can all be inspired by. The film is on sale now. It's streaming on all digital formats, or for DVD, please visit Happy, H-A-P-I, happyfilm.com. Use offer code Happy, AHN for a 10% discount. Gain knowledge in minutes with Blacklist Ed. Blacklist Ed is an app that provides insightful summaries of books pertaining to the Black experience. As Black people, we know the importance of reading books to discover our incredible contributions to world history, to uplift our self-esteem, and to empower ourselves for our relentless fight for social justice. Unfortunately, with our busy lives, it feels like there is never enough time to read a book. Fortunately, there's a solution. With Blacklist Ed, their app provides key insights from best-selling books about the Black experience, therefore saving you time, increasing your knowledge, and empowering yourself through inspirational and actionable ideas. You can read or listen on the go. Start your free trial today by going to blacklisted.com. That's Black without the C, BLAK. Or you can download the Blacklist Ed app from the App Store or Google Play. Blacklist Ed, empower yourself.
All right, so that's just a sample. Those are some of the commercials I created for advertisers. So African American business owners, email us at customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. So when we air these shows, we have your video commercials in the rebroadcast, and then also in the audio podcast of our shows, we have your video commercials as well. Okay. All right. So let's look at this history lesson here. And this comes to us by way of the Equal Justice Initiative, EJI.org, the Equal Justice Initiative. And this is dealing with November 19th, 1906, November 19th, 1906 in Texas. White employers in Texas refused to hire wrongfully discharged Black veterans. So on November 19th, 1906, dozens of African-American veterans who were wrongfully discharged from the 25th Infantry Regiment, which was a segregated unit stationed at Fort Brown, Texas, went to San Antonio, Texas. They went to San Antonio, Texas, seeking work. In a coordinated effort, white employers throughout the city uniformly refused to hire these men in an attempt to drive them out of town. In a coordinated effort, white employers throughout the city uniformly refused to hire these men to drive them out of town. Okay. And you're going to have things like this. They were protecting jobs for white men. And this is one of the reasons why the labor unions were created shortly after slavery ends. A lot of these labor unions were created to protect, like National Labor Union. If you read the book, How White Folks Got So Rich, The Untold Story of American White Supremacy, a lot of these labor unions were created originally to lock African-American men out of jobs, out of the skilled trades, because we dominated the skilled trades. There were at least 262 skills, trades, and crafts that African-Americans had in this country from 1619 to 1865. At least 262 skills, trades, and crafts that we had in this country from 1619 to 1865. Okay. So we were dominating a lot of these. We were dominating the skilled trades. So over the summer of 1906, Black soldiers of the segregated 25th Infantry Regiment were stationed by the U.S. government in Fort Brown, Texas, even though the War Department recognized that Black soldiers would, quote, not be welcome, end quote. Even though the War Department recognized that African-American soldiers would not be welcomed there and would be at risk for racial violence. While stationed at Fort Brown, African-American soldiers were subjected to segregated facilities and barred from most establishments and parks in nearby Brownsville. On the evening of August 13th, 1906, shots were fired into civilian homes. Shots were fired into civilian homes in Brownsville by an unknown group of individuals. Shots were fired into civilian homes in Brownsville by an unknown group of individuals. When police arrived at the scene, an altercation ensued, leaving a white man who was hit by stray bullets dead and a police officer wounded.
without any evidence identifying those responsible, suspicion quickly turned to a group of African American soldiers of the 25th Regiment. Without any evidence identifying those who were responsible, suspicion quickly turned to a group of African American soldiers of the 25th Regiment. When questioned by authorities, Fort Brown's all-white military commanders corroborated the alibis of these African American soldiers, affirming that the soldiers remained in their barracks at the time of the shooting. Despite this strong evidence of their innocence, Brownsville authorities charged 12 African American soldiers with murder. The soldiers repeatedly and consistently stated that they had no knowledge of the attack of those who were involved. Attempting to force confessions from this group of innocent African American soldiers, the federal government gave the entire regiment a deadline to come forward with information about the August 13th incident or face the consequences. When no soldiers came forward in an action unprecedented in U.S. history, President Theodore Roosevelt issued an executive order dishonorably discharging not only the 12 African American soldiers accused, but the entire unit of 167 African American soldiers of the B, C, and D companies of the 25th Infantry from the United States Army on November 6th for their, quote, conspiracy of silence. So the order, this was in 1906, okay, November 6, 1906. The order further barred the men from ever re-enlisting in the United States military or applying for a civil service position with the federal government. So they cannot even apply for a civil service position with the federal government and get a good government job. In the wake of being discharged, these innocent African-American veterans who had bravely chosen to serve the United States were forced to navigate the presumption of guilt and dangerousness despite never having a trial or being convicted of any crime, and were subjected to mistreatment and abuse as exemplified by the white employers in San Antonio, who colluded to deny them employment. Okay. Now, some of these veterans had served in the military for over 20 years, but because of this action, were denied their pensions. In 1972, the United States government reinvestigated the incident and exonerated all soldiers in the 25th Infantry. Okay. And then you can learn more about the targeting of African-American soldiers and veterans. You can read the Equal Justice Initiative's report entitled Lynching in America, Targeting Black Veterans. Lynching in America, Targeting Black Veterans. Okay. So this deals with this date in history. I was going to deal with this on Thursday, which was November 19th, but we ran out of time. So we're doing it today. So check this out also, and we share the articles from Equal Justice Initiative, EJI.org. All right. So we have Greg, Leah. How you doing, Leah? Diane. All right, everybody. Look, hey, we're going to get out of here. And all of my DVD lectures are available at our website, also AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. And then we have digital downloads there as well. We have bundle packs of the Black Migration 1619 bundle pack we have there, as well as the Africans who were here before Columbus, All right, well, look, we have to get out of here. We'll be back Sunday night, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The African History Network show. We focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right knowledge corrects wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you Sunday night. Peace.